All right, so I just want to talk about something real quick, right? This is the Kairos Gate. This is the new DLC for Final Fantasy 16. Now, normally you going through it, it's like Bloody Palace from Devil May Cry. You fight a wave of enemies. It's actually like three waves of enemies each floor until you get like every five floors there's a boss, and then the 20th is the last stage. There's a 21st stage as well, which that's the whole point of this video I'm gonna talk about, right? I hate the way the scoring system in this is. And the reason why is because, for example, I did the first stage. The first circle is called circles, that's the floors. The first circle is the hardest to get S rank on because you can't use all of the things that increase your score multiplier. So all you have is this one, which is not so good because you can't even parry everything in the game or everything like parry is reliant on an attack that the enemy uses in order for you to parry it. So that's enemy reliant. You don't want to use that. Iconic ability, which is decent. It makes it so that if you kill the enemy with the icon ability, it gives you that extra bonus. But overall, it increases your score by 30%. Right? Score bonus you can't use because it doesn't let you use this on the first stage because you don't have enough BP to get it. This one increases the damage of aerials, but also increases how fast the technical bar goes up to the highest, right? Basically, long story short, it works like Devil May Cry, where Devil May Cry, I'm gonna say three. It goes from like I think D through triple S, or let's say C through triple S, right? So in this game, it's like it's like one multiplier, which is basically no multiplier. Then it's 1.5, 2, 2.5, and then 3. And then when you get to the end of 3, it's like it gives you this rainbow effect where like it's always maxed out every time you hit the thing, which is the equivalent to triple S in Devil May Cry, right? So the problem with again the first stage, you don't get to use this amount of how can I say, you don't get to increase your score at a tremendous rate that you would do all the other stages. This is the last one, by the way. The stagger makes it so that every time you stagger something, it gives you that effect from the first DLC where it maxes out the stagger damage, but also increases the score. Right. The problem that I have is that the game limits what abilities you can use to basically obtain an S rank in this game. So as you see, you have all 10 icons, right? You have all 10 of them. But for example, let's say this move right here, Rook's Gambit, which is a really good move, right? You want to use that against like bosses and things like that, right? But because this move, not counting the counter version of the move, the regular move, right? It's just two hits. It just do kick kick, right? That move will not increase your score like let's say a move like this does, like Satellite, for example. And the only difference in Satellite is that it just increases the amount of hits per projectile that you do. But because you have it like that, the game thinks that the more how can I say the more projectiles that you shoot, the more damage that you do, it gives you a multiplier for that. So like for example, every five hits of a skill that you use here, or a icon ability, technique, whatever you want to call it, it's going to give you a score multiplier. Once you reach, I think 20, I think it's 25 or 30, something like that, your skill has this rainbow effect. What's good about the rainbow effect is that, let me show you here. Oh, no, not that. The rainbow effect makes it so that you see that at the bottom, that's the highest score you can obtain. So because like for example that magic burst thing at the top is multiplied by four, that's like four magic bursts gave them that 1 star rating, right? So it turns blue, right? You want to get to rainbow effects with everything because that's the highest score. But these regular abilities that I was just explaining, like Rook's Gambit, can't get you a rainbow effect because it's never going to hit that many times. Even with the counter version of it, you're never going to hit something that many times. The counter version, I think, is let me see, uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's about 10 hits, right? It's not going to get you to the rainbow effect. So therefore, because you can't use this, your how can I say your playstyle is lessened, but then it wants you to use, like I said, satellite, where satellite is not a bad ability, but now I'm being forced to use this in order for me to get the highest score that I can possibly attain. Where in Devil May Cry, it doesn't work like that. Devil May Cry is like you your score is based on your performance, your technique, as in you not getting hit, how fast you beat it, and not doing the same combos over and over to beat it. Then you have another issue where all of these moves, which are the ultimates, which I personally don't like using in this game at all. I think they're just really cheap. But all of these ultimate abilities, they slow down time before it happens. So your score is going down when it happens. So you can only use this at max score multiplier, which is the triple S rank of this game. When it has the rainbow effect, that's the only time you can really pull these off. But again, overall, like for example, my normal setup when I play like the game regular is this. Like I have this right here, counters projectiles. This right here is a good counter and it gives iframes. Lightning rod. I'm gonna get into that in a second. Lightning rod, y'all already know what that does. Uh, the fire wheels, I can sub that out in and out. You want to use this on this mode though, just because you just like Bloody Palace, you got to save your health per each level. Impulse and Mesmerize, right? I like Mesmerize just because it has one of the fastest restores in the game and it pulls everything towards you, right? But in this mode, because of this score multiplier, if you want to beat it, that's one thing. But if you want the S rank, which is what you're supposed to be going for, right? You got to equip stupid stuff. You got to equip things like gouge, for example. Gouge is not bad, but you got to equip things that just hit so many times, like multipliers, 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 satellite, multiplier, and these new Leviathan moves that just came out, where it's basically like a gun. It shoots. You see that one move right there that he just did would have gave you a rainbow effect just by using it one time. But again, it's like you're forced to do that in order for you to get it. That's my problem with it. That's what I dislike about this mode, the way the scoring is. And then the last thing, going back to Lightning Rod, where's Lightning Rod? I found out this the hard way. Lightning Rod, for some weird reason in this mode, if you use Lightning Rod, if you hit the Lightning Rod, it does not give you the score multiplier effect because you hit the Lightning Rod for it to damage the enemies. It will give you the score because you damage the enemies, but it will only give you the multiplier if the enemies hit the Lightning Rod themselves. So that kind of kills that whole concept. So you can't use any like lightning rod combos realistically. And again, this is mainly going for the first stage that I'm talking about because the first stage has the least multiplier. So you're stuck here overall again just playing with these small abilities that just do a bunch of like hits and it's like that's not everybody's playstyle. Everybody doesn't want to use the same thing. This Odin thing is actually an exception to the rule because as you see this ability, it hits like a bunch of times. The problem is that with the Odin, it doesn't do a lot of damage. The point of Odin is just to do Zantetskin, and then you do Zantetskin, and then you're good. You do like a bunch of damage, which is like Judgment Cut in Devil May Cry, right? So it wants you to use all of these small abilities that do no damage to play the entire thing in order for you to S rank it, just to fight a extra boss at the end to get like I think you get some sort of I think it's like a alternate version of the strongest weapon in the game, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta relook that up, but yeah, that's. I just wanted to bring that to attention. Like, I just think that's just a bad way to do this mode, especially when you have people, for example. Let me see if I can find it here. There's people who play this mode who's beaten it, and they got the high score or whatever, and it's like well, yeah, you beat it. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go, right here. Okay, so you beat it, but it's just like, well, go to the top. Well, like, let's say these top 10 people, they use I don't know, random build. They just wanted to beat it to beat it. But now you have people going for this S rank effect so that you can actually like if you get all of the S rank, you're gonna not only unlock everything in the game, you're also going to top it, which is what you should be going for. That's just how a mode like this should work. So until they fix the score thing, I think honestly, like people should just play this regular. Like there's no point. I just hate the fact that they put an extra hidden boss in the game, which is not really that hidden if you've looked it up already. But they put an extra hidden boss in the game that hinders the what the player has to use to get there. That's all I'm saying. I would like Square Enix to fix this if possible, or just make it so that this mode doesn't restrict you on that. It should just be based off damage, how fast you beat it, combos, not getting hit, and I don't know if taunt works in this game the same way it does Devil May Cry. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But those things, not based on oh well, this attack one of my attacks hit 25 times and the next attack only hits 2 times, but because the one that hits 2 times takes more damage, I get less score for it. But that's the one that also fits my playstyle of combo. you know? So yeah, just wanted to talk about that.